Okay guys, welcome back to episode, what is it? Episode 4 of the Flappy Bird series. We are currently creating a Flappy Bird, obviously. We are on episode 4, and today we're going to be working on just doing some updates to the spawner, because we have a little bit of an issue where the pipes are not spawning in the right place, either off the screen at the bottom or off the screen at the top. So we want to go ahead and try and fix that. What else do we want to do? We want to go ahead and start working on the collisions, because we have currently you can just fly straight through the pipe, so we don't want that. We want the bird to actually stop and the game to restart whenever you collide with one of the pipes. And then if we have some time, depending on how long that takes, we are going to start working on the UI, and that involves adding some text to somewhere on the screen so that it displays the total score of the player. So whenever you go through one of the pipes, we're going to add a trigger between the two of them, and whenever you go through this trigger, it's going to add some points onto your score, and then obviously you want that to reflect in the scene using a text field or whatever we choose. So let us jump into this and let's start. So over here, let's go and see episode 4. Let's go ahead and start by fixing the spawner to spawn the pipes properly, and then we also want to go ahead and change the queue time of each pipe to slightly lower. So let's go ahead and see where we left off last episode. So we have our pipe spawning. So if we play our game, you can see that's a problem. We don't want that. Our pipes are a bit all over the place, so let's go ahead and fix that. And we probably also want to slow down the queue time. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. So let us change the queue time from 1.5 to 1.2, and then let's go ahead and change the height to let's try 1 maybe. We'll see what that looks like. So if we play that, that should give us a lower random range, because that's the height is we're using this value to calculate a random height of where the pipes are to spawn. So that looks a lot better already, but we still have a little bit of an issue. So we could probably just solve this by simply moving our object spawner slightly up, I think probably to about there. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. If that doesn't work, we might have to change our height value once more. So let's go see. Hopefully this works, and we can move on to the next thing. So if we start playing, and then let's see, that looks good. Okay, we might have to bring it down a bit. So we'll bring it down a little bit. Well, first of all, let's change our height to 1.2 maybe, and then we'll bring this obstacle spawner down a little bit, and we'll see what that looks like. So hopefully that works better. And then what's next? Let's go ahead and see. So we fixed the spawner, which we're doing now. We've changed the queue time, which we've done. Okay, and then we want to start getting our collisions working. So whenever we go into one of these pipes, we want the bird to stop. Okay, so that is, we need to go ahead and fix that. So what if we go ahead and put this back to 1.5, I think we had it at. Or did we have it 1.5 or just 1? Let's go ahead and see, can't remember. And let us, I can't go back to check, but anyway, we'll play this and see. So let's go ahead and, okay, so we still got a bit of a problem there. And there. So if we, I think we need to give it, let's say about 0.75 maybe. We'll try that. I don't know if that's going to work. It's just like a trial and error thing. Whatever works for you, I guess, is best. In our case, I think we might have to just stick with a value of 1. But for now, let's see if this works. So that looks good. That doesn't look good. So that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. So maybe we might just stick with that, and we might just shift that up a little bit like that. So let's see if that works. But yeah, this is not too important. This is mainly just to make the game look better. But yeah. So we start up there. Okay, we're gonna need to move it down a bit, because whenever we keep moving it up, we seem to be spawning the pipes like all the way at the top. So let's just play this and see if this all works. Okay, so that works. That works. I'm not very good at this game, but you get the point. It seems to be working now. A lot better than what it was. So I think we'll stick with these values that we have now. So we could probably move on to. See, I don't really like that, so I'm gonna just shift it down a bit, just so that we can see that the end of the pipe. And this might just be a case of our pipes a bit too short. We could just make them a lot longer, but we'll see. Like I said, it's not that important. The main thing is to try and get the game finished, and to do that we need to move on to the UI part. So, well, first of all we need to do the collision. So this looks better, except for that. I don't really like that, but then again, like I said, our pipes could probably just be a bit too short. But anyway, we'll move on to the next thing. So that looks a lot better than what it was. So let us move on to the next thing, and that is start working on the collision. So let's go and do that. So let's see our prefab. So let's open up our obstacle prefab, or obstacle pipe prefab here, and we are going to want to add a collider on here. So let's go and say collider. We probably want a box collider 2D. So let's go and edit this. We probably want to add 2 of them. Where's it gone? So if we edit this like this, and why does it keep doing that? It keeps disappearing. So we'll edit that up like that, put that over there, and that's annoying. And then we'll put this up there, so just so it surrounds the outside, so that looks good. And then we will add another one, box collider, box collider 2D, and then we will copy. Actually, we won't copy it because okay, let's see, can we edit this? Okay, so clearly you cannot add 2 box colliders on it. Oh, okay, you only have 1 edit button, so anyway, that's fine. So we'll go, that's annoying, so we'll edit this by dragging this down there. That's so annoying, so drag this one down as well. And then we will, this has never happened before, why does it keep disappearing every time I release it? So that's very annoying. But anyway, we'll just add this like this for now. It's not a big issue. So we'll go ahead and enable that. So that's looking good. And then what we also want to do is we want to, well, let's go back to our scene. And we need to, first of all, on our obstacle pipes here, we want to go and add a new, well, okay, we've already got a script on there, so let's go and open up the script by going and saying edit script. So let's open this up. We'll drag this to, where is it? This side over here, and then on here let's go ahead and say on collision enter 2D, and let's say debug dot log, and every time we collide with them we just want to print out hit, just so we can see that this actually works. So let us go and play the game and see if this works, because what this will allow us to do is whenever we actually hit one of the pipes, we can go ahead and reset the game. And resetting the game means obviously putting the player back, or the bird and the player in this case, at the beginning of the level, well, not the level but the game, and also resetting the points of the player that we will eventually get to. So whenever we go, so whenever we hit, there we go, so whenever we hit whenever we hit one of the pipes, we get the debug message saying hit, so that's fine. But now what we want to do is we want to first of all go on to, where is it, we need to add some restrictions onto our bird, which is our player here. In our rigid body we need to go and say constraints, and we want to freeze the rotation on the z-axis. So let's see if that works better when we collide, because we don't really want the bird to spin around, we just want it to stop. What we could do is we could just pause the game which we probably will do as well. But for now, let's go ahead and test this. Okay, so that's better. But now what we also want to do is we want to pause the game. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, because we know that that works. So in here, first of all, we need to go and say add, or when we collide with a pipe, what we want to do is we want to pause game by simply saying, what is it? So time dot delta time is equal to 0. Let's see if that pauses the game. Because if that, okay, simply we probably can't do that. Okay, so what we will do is we will go and start working on, let's see, we could add a trigger in between the pipes so that we can start adding some score onto our game. So let's see. So if computer's getting a bit slow. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so that's working, but obviously you see whenever we collide with a pipe, our bird gets left behind. So that's not what we want. So let's go ahead and open all of our scripts. So can I select all of these and open them all at once? Let's see if that works. Ah, it does work. Okay, so that's perfect. So let us go here and say, what we could do is, let's go ahead and open up the Google and say Unity pause time. Let's see, do we get the time scale, time dot delta, stop time dot delta time. How do I pause a timer? That's probably not what we need. I did do a video on this and I have already forgotten. But what I will do is I will go back to my videos and just go ahead and look at it quickly. But while I do this, okay, I'll do this later, and we'll come back to this in the next episode. But for now, let's go ahead and work on the trigger box. So whenever we go through the pipes, we're gonna add some points, so we need a way to detect whenever we go through them. So let's open up obstacle pipes here, and then we want to add in a game object, or create an empty game object here, and call this trigger score, I think, well, whatever you want. And then on there we will add in a collider, which actually, do we need to do that? Let's see. What we could do is we could add in, what is it? What do we want to add in here? We need to add in, let's see, can't remember what it is. I've completely gone blank. But we want this to be we want to reset that so that's in the middle. And then we also want to move it in the middle here somewhere. And we want to change the if we add in an image here and we change the, where is it? No, so it's not an image, it is a, I think it is a collider, but then we say it's triggered, so let's try that. So if we go and put this over here, but then we need to make it smaller so that it fits in between our pipes, so that it only gets triggered whenever we go through them. And I'm going to make it slightly smaller here, just like that, very small, so that whenever you, actually I'm going to put it over here, because if you reach this point, that is going to mean that you obviously you've gone through the pipe in between, or you've gone in between two of them. So I'm going to leave that there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that, and then we're going to jump back into our scene here, and then on, I think it is our obstacle, we also want to put a private, or let's go ahead and say on, actually no, we're not going to do this on here, because we are going to do this on a new, well, we're going to do this on a new script. So let's go back to obstacle pipes here, and we're going to add in a new script onto our trigger score here. So let's go and say trigger score. Do we have a UI? No, we don't. So I'm just gonna put, well, let's just start with that. Let's go say trigger score. Let's create the new script, and we'll add that onto there. And then we will go ahead and open this by saying edit script. And then in here we can probably delete that because we don't really need that now. But in here we want to say on trigger enter 2D, and then in here let's go and say debug.log, and then in here let's say score +1, because we'll probably only give the player a single point every time they go through this box. So let's see if this works. Hopefully whenever now we go through the pipes, we get a message in our console here that says, what does it say, score +1. So if we go back to our game and play this, computer's struggling a bit, so we might end this video a bit early. We are we're coming on to about 20 minutes now, so as you can see it's taking a while to build. So let's go ahead and, okay, so there you go. So whenever we go through in between the two pipes, we get this message here saying score +1. So that is where we are going to go ahead and add 1 to the player's score. So we're going to do that over here, and then what else are we going to do? We are also going to update the UI of the, why can't I type? UI of the game, and I think that's it for the trigger event. But yeah, I think, let's see, do we have anything else on the list? Add a trigger box, so we've done that. Add a score label, so we'll do that in the next episode. Just because the computer's is struggling a little bit, it's getting a bit slow. So we'll stop the video over here and let my computer rest a bit so it can catch up. So let's say, so yeah, I think let's go ahead and just see if we can play this and see what's happening here one more time. So let's play our game and see what else we have left to do. But yeah, so this is a very short game series. I think we're only going to have about 6 episodes, maybe even 5. We might finish in the next episode, we'll see, depending on how much my computer is struggling, but we can play the game. Okay, so this is clearly not, my computer is struggling, but so I'm going to pause that, and then I'm going to close this. I'm going to save it first and close this. But yeah, for now I think that's it for this episode. Like I said, my computer is struggling a little bit, so we'll stop the episode here. Although we did get in we've kind of fixed the spawning of the pipes. I'll go back into it and see what else we can fix. What else did we do? We changed the queue time as well, and then we also started working on the collisions, and then we added in a trigger, obviously. But in the next episode we're going to want to go ahead and start adding in our UI so we can update the score whenever we go through that trigger box. And then what else do we want to do? We want to pause the game whenever we collide with one of the pipes, but then we also want to allow the player to restart. So that's what we're probably going to do in the next episode. But yeah, for now that's it for this episode. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. So goodbye.